Yes, I look at for help today because my taxes is very high. I asked for here about it is okay to down because I have my property, I pay taxes. It's okay because I pay for my house. And the next to my house, I have one lane, and I pay very expensive tax. It's nothing over there. I can do nothing over there. I try to solve, I can't solve because the city is building nothing, so only pay the tax. So I try to ask you guys if you help me for the deduction of my tax. Because for me it's high. I retirement, I not working, I need help.
So you have a sliver lot, correct? Adjacent to your home?
Yeah.
Did you purchase the sliver lot after you purchased the property?
After, when I have my house 2 years ago, maybe more, after like that, I asked the city if it's okay to buy the land. And I make it all paper because it's not for the city, it's for the transit, something. So anyway, I buy for, I believe it's for $8,000, something like that. So I start to making taxes. Tax is very expensive. For me, it's very expensive.
But you were made aware that even if you purchased the sliver lot, you would have to pay taxes on that.
Yeah, I know. So I try to try a little bit to, take it down.
Yeah, but because I'm listening to your argument where you said it's there doing nothing, but you were given understanding that if you purchased that particular sliver lot, you still have to pay for taxes. So it probably, it would probably suited you perhaps to purchase it, maybe to just leave it alone, or potentially maybe create a parking space for you, or maybe extend the property, or maybe talk with the city and see what other things you can do. Because I'm pretty sure that if you pull the appropriate permits, they'll probably do something with it.
Yeah, because when I worked years ago, I got my business, I have painting, remodeling, everything. So I make it one storage over there. So when I close my business, so the storage, I make it very good. And I ask my son, I say, can you come for, stay sometimes weekends or live over there? And the inspector one day is going and say, take it down. He said, why? He said, you have to take it down or make a permit for stay over there. Is number one. Number two, the inspector, I don't know, he told me, oh, what's that over there? In one tree, I make a, well, it's one for my grandson. And I looking for the permit, everything straight. And he said, no, 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 take it down. He's going to check, he's coming back, the other inspector over there said, no need permit for building in the tree. It's like a toy. He said, oh, it's okay. So,
So you created a treehouse.
yeah, the inspector didn't take it down.
So your ask is what? To reduce what? Taxes in total or just the interest? What's your particular?
Yeah, taking the interest, it is okay for me it's too high because of the land, in this house I understand, it's land.
So you just want the taxes from the sliver lot to be reduced.
Yeah, please, that's what we need.
Uh,
This is another one of the, no, Don Hayden, 165 Church Street, fiscal analyst. This is another one where the city sells a sliver lot, but doesn't notice in the original transfer of title that all mail address would go to the owner's residence. So that initially the taxes went to,
The prior owner.
no, it just went to the street.
Wow.
And, it just said, whatever this lot is at 181 or Mill River Street,
Mhm.
not the 83 Mill River Street. So whether or not we can actually show that it ever got to Mr. Kuby I don't know because it depends on the post office. And as you can see from what I gave you in front of you, he's got a tax outstanding so far, not including this year's taxes, of $7,988.09. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And interest of $1,332.13.
Okay. And including this year, it will go up to 9,000.
It will probably go up to over 10,000.
Okay, and this is strictly for the sliver lot?
Just for the sliver lot.
Okay. I mean, I 100%, I get what you're saying, but I also understand that it is a professional courtesy for the city to provide a tax
Correct.
bill. It's not necessarily the city's obligation, it is actually the property owner's obligation to ensure they're receiving the proper documentation in a timely manner to be able to pay such taxes. So I can sympathize, but I also understand that folks have to also do their due diligence and have a responsibility. Right. So, okay, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions, comments? Alderman Wingate?
So the interest on this is what?
1332 with 13.
$1,380.13.
You know, I'll be honest with you. Maybe I'm talking out of turn. Chair, I can hold it for discussion. In reference to where the mailing go, I think I should hold that to that time. I don't. What can you pay?
Okay, I want to try to make payments because it's kind of, like you say, still tax abatement. I retire, I don't work, I don't have any.
Yeah, if we can come to some kind of number that you're gonna be successful with, we can give you 90 days. We can give you 90 days, up to 90 days to complete whatever we come up with for as a number that you can.
Sorry to make you. Question said, it's okay if you take them down a little bit because I really don't have the money.
No, I understand. I get it, right? Everyone's struggling. I don't make that number by myself. We have a family that we have to discuss that with. But in reference to, right, if you want to make payments, I think we have a program for that. The question is, you should be head.
There is no program. He can make payments to it, but it is not a program per se.
Yeah.
They do have where you can pay the current taxes over time for a year. They require previous taxes, roughly 25 to 50% of it. And that's something that he has to work with downstairs, and then they charge him 18% interest per year.
What do you pay for?
Yeah, so I won't circle back because at some point we have to get to a number if we're going to do anything. So I yield the floor to whoever was next in the queue.
Thank you, Alderman Wingate. So given that it might go up to maybe 10,000, right, total with this year's, correct?
The half would be due in July, the other half in January for this year's.
So you're looking at potentially paying $3,300 a month. That's for we're looking at 21, 22, and 23, correct?
Correct. It'll be for 4 years.
So for the duration of that time, you'll be paying $3,300 every month. If we were to reduce anything at all, let's say we were to reduce the interest, then what's the total, Don, if the interest were reduced? Is it 7,988 or is it 9,368?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
The taxes without interest. Is
It would be
it,
the current of 7,988.09
Okay.
plus the half for the grant list year 24.
so that would mean that you would get, they'll take it down to 2,662. That's rounded up to 2,700 every month. That's if you reduce anything. If you were to get rid of the interest, you would be approximately 27. So from paying 3,400, we might be able to reduce it to 2,700. Is that reasonable to you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, no, we haven't made the decision yet, but we may consider that. So, all the works.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
A couple of questions. How do you pronounce your name, sir? How do you pronounce your name?
Frankly, and the last name is Kubi.
Kubi, Mr. Kubi.
Yes,
I wanted to pronounce your name correctly. Thank you, Mr. Kubi. I have a couple of questions for Mr. Kubi and a couple of questions for Mr. Hayden, please. For Mr. Kubi, you stated that you owned your house for about 30 years, is that correct?
more than 2 years, yes.
And you purchased the sliver lot in what year? About 2020, is that correct?
Something like that.
About 5 years ago.
No, it's more we're talking about the land, right?
What year did you purchase the sliver lot?
2015.
So now I'm really confused. So, Mr. Kubi,
According to the assessor's online database, it was purchased in 2015.
Mr. Kubi, have you owned the property for about 10 years?
More than 2 years,
30 years the house?
the house.
The sliver lot, have you owned it for about 10 years?
According to this, yeah.
Yes,
Fine.
definitely yes.
Fine, thank you.
Definitely yes.
The application before us is about taxes just for the last couple of years.
Correct.
Just for 2021, 2022, and 2023. I was asking Mr. Kubi, but perhaps Mr. Hayden, I want to know what happened to the taxes between 2015 and you purchased it and 2021, which we're looking at here.
As I understand it, when they purchase a sliver lot from the city, they buy it tax-free for approximately 7 to 10 years. Or in this case, 7 years.
So can I ask Mr. Kubi, when you purchased the property, what did you understand about the taxes?
I really understand you have to pay the taxes. The problem is, anytime when I come to the city for make a payment, always in the cash say, everything is okay. You don't have to pay nothing. I say, listen, I have to pay. No, you don't pay nothing. And it's coming years like this. I always ask, I say, I have one lady, Mr. Cook, you pay your taxes regular for the mortgage, and everything is okay.
So I have more questions, Mr. Kubi,
Yes,
so
sir.
you can answer my questions. So if you purchased the property in 2015, for many years after that, you would ask at the tax office, what taxes do I owe? And they would tell you you're all set. Is that correct? Just yes or no?
Yes,
That's okay. It's okay. Yes, I hear you. I want to make sure I heard you, okay? When was the first time you heard about the tax bill for 21, 22, and 23?
when I coming over here and I say, I want to pay for the land. And I insist, I talk for too many options. I went for the gentleman, say, how is supposed to do it? Because they say, you have zero. I said, no, I have to pay. And it's coming like this months, years.
I understand. I'm asking a very specific question, Mr. Kubi. When did you first learn that you owed the taxes? They began in 21, 22, and 23. When did you find out, please?
I believe that 3 years ago.
So 3 years ago.
Yeah, because it was this one officer told me you have to pay $15,000, 10,000 late and 5,000 for the authority. I pay $15,000 over here. And now it's again the same situation.
I need to ask you very specific questions. It matters for my decision, okay, Mr. Kubi? When you found out, 1 year you showed up at the tax office and they said this year you owed for the sliver lot. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, that's what Mr. Hayden is telling us. He's telling us that the first 7 years there was no taxes and there came a point in year 8 or year 9 that you had to pay. So in 2021 and 2022, when you went to the tax office, did they tell you you owed money those years?
no, they say no. I say, I want to pay for the rent. He said, no, you don't have nothing.
When was the first time the tax office told you that you owed money?
Almost every month because I try to make a payment. And when I come and he said, you balance zero. You balance zero. I said, no. And the office one day, he said, oh, you have to pay, it's high, you have to pay 7,000, 6,000, something like that. I don't remember exactly.
Okay, Mr. Kubi, the dates really matter to me, okay? I'm trying to really find something out. I want to find out from you.
I'm gonna allow you one more question, then I'm gonna ask to.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to find out from you. For many years, they told you it was zero. When did they tell you? What date? What year did they tell you that money was owed?
In this year.
So just follow up when you went in 2021, did they tell you it was zero?
Zero.
2022, they told you zero?
I always told me zero.
This is the
zero,
first year
zero.
you were told the
Yeah.
amount.
Yes.
I may have some further questions, but thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I just have
Hold
one.
on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is for Mr. Hayden. So is this issue now resolved? So will he be getting mail at the right address going forward?
I cannot answer that.
Yeah, the tax assessor office is not here.
That is
Well,
between
the
the
tax-
assessors and the tax office, and I'd have to double check, but they may have, a lot of times they'll change it after
Okay.
on the system, I'll have to check it.
So through you, Mr. Chair, I would say whatever decision we make, let's just make sure we follow up with them so that we're not back here again for the same issue. Because it seems quite reasonable that you can't pay taxes and shouldn't be responsible for interest on something that you could not have known about. But we want to make sure that it's resolved going forward.
I might add, when you go into the tax office, you usually have your bill. They scan the barcode. If that sliver lot is not on that tax bill, it may not show up.
Yeah.
It's not by
That's the
name.
problem.
May I ask this
That's the
question,
problem.
Mr. Chair?
She
Mr.
wants-
Hayden? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But that's it. That's my question.
All works.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to check with Mr. Hayden. Does it seem credible to you that Mr. Kubi could have shown up in 2021 and 2022 and been told his bill was clear?
Yes.
And then what would have changed for when he showed up now
Because
from
the
show?
bill would have come back, it's undelivered. The tax office would have done the research and tied the two together.
So you find this testimony credible, Mr.
Yes.
Hayden? Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Based
Chair.
on the history of other people that have come before the committee, yes, I do,
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
unfortunately.
Or did Dennis? Did you have a question, Dennis?
No.
Okay.
Um,
I know you wanted to inquire about when we initially start the conversation.
no, our colleague got to a really good point
Yeah.
in reference to what that looked like, right? I think we got to make the decision around what do we do for this gentleman and in the lieu of not knowing, right? Around what that looked like. I would defer to Dawn
Uh-oh.
in reference to what have we done in the past.
Forgiving the interest.
That's what it is.
If forgiving the interest, they do have the tax liability.
Correct.
Okay. So,
Hence from your suggestion,
yep,
from 37, 36 to 47,
yeah,
because of
yeah,
this.
right. So if it is 27, he will have to do that for
Well, the order would not be, if whatever you decide, would not be approved by the full board until the August meeting.
Mhm.
So you'll have
So
June,
if he
July.
puts the money aside, then he'd be able to pay more at, toward the end, as opposed to the $2,700 a month. You could go into the board passes it in August, so you have September, October, November.
Mhm.
So he could be able to do like 6 months, put money aside
Yeah.
before the interest would kick back in.
If we give it a first reading,
First reading would be on the 7th of July.
second reading.
Second reading would be the first meeting in August, which I believe is the 4th.
And then we'll vote on it on the September,
No, August.
August. Yes,
August
So-
4th, and then you would have 3 months,
From
August,
that date.
September, October,
right.
to,
So
in
you-
addition,
We'll essentially have 5 months.
yeah, you'd have approximately 5 months. And you would just have,
So what would be the tally of his payment within 5 months? What would that end up being?
Should this committee decide to
Let's
get rid of the.
say we did 2,700, like you said.
So let's say 7,988 divided by 5 months, looking at 15, so $1,600 a month.
right, he would also have to delay his current bill coming out until that time, because any payment he made by state law, they would have to apply to the oldest one.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow.
I know, it gets complicated.
So, could we do 2,500 a month?
We could do whatever we
Well,
want,
it's,
but ultimately we'll have to ask him.
Okay,
he can't make a payment
okay,
because of the way the state law is. Your determination is how much you're gonna reduce it by
right,
and how long, if it's interest, you're going to delay the reapplying the interest.
okay,
Mr. Kuvi will have to put that money aside so before the end, he can make the total payment.
gotcha.
You can't say, okay,
Come
make
in
a
tomorrow,
$3,000
right,
payment a
right.
month.
Right,
Okay,
The problem is with the interest in the state law,
you can
they
make
would get
it.
all fouled up.
Yeah. There's still gonna be.
so someone that will have to explain to him
I will.
in detail what that looked like, right?
Yep.
And, I will yield once again to my colleague to the left.
Okay, Marks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 2 questions for Mr. Hayden.
Sure.
Hope I'm not overstepping, it's going into discussion, but it's going to Mr. Hayden.
Let's do it.
So I appreciate you stating that we generally waive interest. I have a specific concern in this case. I understand that, I believe strongly that his failure to get the letter does not waive his responsibility. We have a different fact here. The fact we have here is that he was going and speaking to the tax office and asking for his taxes. And then, the inaccurate statement by the tax office, non-intentional, but because of the records, was causing him now to have a liability of paying an extremely large amount over a very short period of time, which given that he's retired, I feel might really not be a fair, equitable solution. Question for you. Is there any way, I know we generally do 90 days to do this as, say, a lien
Yes.
on the property or something else, so that the city does get the taxes due, but to ask the kind of money we're talking about of a retiree, given that he hadn't set it
You
aside, could be infeasible at this point.
The board has the authority to set up any requirements that they wish. If you want to do another year, you can do a year. If you want to do 6 months, you can do 6 months. It's whatever you decide to do.
I thought there was a limit on the time frame for the repayment.
We use 90 days primarily for automotive, which is not as high normally as this is.
Is there
And
discretion?
it's just kind of been a rule of thumb.
Does our discretion apply to multiple years, given this was multiple years of accruement that he had asked about and been told no?
Wouldn't, because now you've got to carry it over into another fiscal year.
So you're saying that 1 year, in your opinion, would be the longest we could feasibly do?
It's the longest I would do.
Okay,
That's just myself knowing that, they've got to close the books out at the end of the year and they have this tax liability and they may jump up and down and say, wait a minute, you're giving them a year of
even though
no
Mr.
interest
Even though Mr. Hayden, they were
to
the ones-
include the current year.
even though Mr. Green Woodlands or perhaps gave them misinformation that caused this problem.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I think it's going to discussion. Thank you,
So-
Mr. Hayden. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Of course. Anything else you want us to know?
Yeah, I want to know what you guys think.
So what's gonna happen is we'll have deliberation at the end, which means this committee will make a decision. You can stay until the end, or you can leave, and then you can call them down tomorrow and ask them what's the decision of this body. So you don't have to stay, you can go home, and then you're gonna get information from them tomorrow when you call them.
Can't stay if you
But
want.
you can stay if you want.
Just there's a couple more people and then after that.
Yeah, we'll stay over here. I can sleep in for the situation.
So you can certainly sit in the back, absolutely, you can wait until.
Yeah, and I'll explain it to you after.
Yeah, try to help because it's not, it sounds not good. It's not my fault because I always, when I come, you balance zero. Next, every month when I come and I try to make a payment, and I go for all of this over here. Thank you, God, Mr. He helped me because nobody helped me. I tried, I asked too many times.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
Mr. Chairman, I just ask Mr. Hayden, where's the, where's the 20,
You're all set, you're good.
where's the 2024?
They just came out. I don't have it.
So there's more to this tax bill then?
Yes.
I know by the mail, my car tax is just coming in.
Oh, I got it today too. You're right, I got mine today.
Now, whether or not the property
Thank you,
tax
thank you. I didn't open it.
for real estate came in, I don't know.
Just go online, you'll see it.
Thank you,
I
thank
know
you,
that. I saw, I went online
Everybody
and I
has
saw.
questions, whether Zoom or.
thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call to the table John Warwick.
Someone's birthday.
John Warwick. Please state your name and address for the record, and then state your case.
John Warwick, 112 Huntington Street, New Haven.
State your case.
My
State your
case,
case.
my case is perplexing. I paid a tax bill off of a demand notice with my name on it that alarmed me. And I paid it, only to find that the demand notice was tax on a company called the Lawsuit Center Court LLC, which ceased to exist in 2015. And for tax purposes, for federal tax purposes, was kept open until 2016 and then dissolved, wrapped up and dissolved with the Secretary of State. So I had a number of emails with the tax collector a number of months ago after I paid this bill for $500 and some odd dollars, $582.90. Once I understood that it was for taxes on a company that had no assets and ceased to exist in 2015. And I finally got a response from the tax collector who went back 3 years. And as I understood, wiped the record clean, but she told me the statute would not allow her to go back more than those 3 years. I also asked for a refund on those dollars and I was told no. So that's a separate question. So I'm here in front of you to ask that I not be billed on a company that doesn't exist. My name somehow was personally attached to this. I was the managing member. There were multiple investors. This was for a project, a redevelopment project at 122 Court Street that commenced roughly, it commenced March 10th, 2006. A group that I was managing member of took some vacant, unusable office space in that building. and turned it into 14 condos for sale. We were quite proud of doing homeownership in downtown New Haven. We spent a couple $1 million improving that office space and turning it into 14 1- and 2-bedroom units. And then the economy changed, if you recall, 2007, and it took another 8 years to sell, 7 or 8 years to sell the remaining condos. But I'm proud of what we accomplished there, including the massive property tax increase that hopefully has helped the city. So my request is that these taxes be wiped off the record. I think they were personal property taxes. We had a model unit we set up when we finished construction in 2007, and we moved that furniture unit by unit until the 14 times until the 14th was sold. And then it was either thrown out, or the condo association, which was much larger, that's on 116 Court. I think there are 88 units. It's a former SNET switching station. They might have taken some of the 8-year-old furniture for their lobby. So.
Do you have any paperwork regarding the dissolvement of that?
That paperwork was shown to the assessor's office. That's why he was able to do the 2003, 2002, 2001 zero amount.
Excellent.
He couldn't go beyond the 2020 through the 2011 because he wasn't on statute able to do that, which is usually why they love to send them to this committee.
Indeed. I still want to see a bit more.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure he has it. Dissolution.
Yes.
Thank you. As I read, is any question from the committee? Okay, so it was filed on December of 2016. So that means you would have had taxes until 2017. For 2016, in the beginning of 17.
He would have had it for like half a year in 16.
Right.
And then it would have been taken off the grand list for grand list year 2017.
So from these 4, I see 107 all the way down to 109, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Would he owe anything from 2017?
No, because it's he did make a payment of $582.90. If you'll see there in the comments, it was used to pay off the 2015 and the 2016 years.
I see that.
And it paid $44.80 toward the 2017.
So the total is $851.79 that needs to be forgiven.
Yeah, the total would have been $851.79
Okay.
that he has outstanding.
I don't have any questions. Alder Marks?
The ask, if I can confirm, is to have waived the $851.79 and to be repaid the $582.90. Am I understanding the ask correctly?
I have, yes, the money I paid is that I was looking to be reimbursed is the $582.90. I didn't know what the back due was because I didn't think there was any back due, but you're saying.
I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I'm looking at a certain chart.
Right.
Mr. Ward,
He doesn't have a copy of this.
can we maybe share it with Mr. Ward? It looks to me, and Mr. Hayden, can you
This
confirm?
is the 582, and this is how they broke it down, is they paid all the taxes for 15, 16, and they did a partial for 17.
Am I understanding correctly, Mr. Hayden, that what's going on here is that there's still 855, the way you did the chart, 851.79 due?
Yes.
And in
Yes.
addition, there's a payment of 582.90 that appears not to need to have been paid.
No,
No.
no. It needed to be paid because he needs to pay for 15 and 16.
I thought it was sold in,
It wasn't sold. It was dissolved in 2016, December 2016.
dissolved in 2016 means it was,
In my understanding, Don, is the 44.
the 4480 would be reimbursed?
Reimbursed, if applicable? Or would that cover the half of the 2016 that it was still on, because it wasn't dissolved until December of 2016?
Yeah, because the total taxes were 107.46. It was about 155, not counting the interest.
Is Mr. Lark able to look at the chart that we're looking at? I have a question for Mr. Lark. So you're looking at this
What
chart.
am I
We're
looking
looking
at?
at a chart, Mr. Warwick, under number 3.
Okay,
You're number 3, Mr. Warwick. We're looking at the chart.
I see, okay.
So what we're looking at is that the company was dissolved at the end of 2016, meaning that the taxes, would you agree, should be paid through 2016?
I can't agree to anything because I really don't understand do you know what was being taxed? Because I'm not.
Personal property.
So that the
Personal
only,
property could be a condo, it could be the furniture. I doubt for the amounts that it's the actual condo, it's probably for the office furniture.
so there was just this furniture that was purchased in '07.
Yeah, that's
That's-
probably what.
And it wasn't, okay,
Because of the amount of the taxes, the value of the furniture was not exceptionally high.
I'll say. Okay, it was moved 14 times in 8 years.
I'm just trying to clarify your ask, and I know it's hard to make an ask given your lack of information, but given what we all seem to understand right now, which is that you owned the property through 2016, you made certain taxes through 2016, are you willing to agree at this point that we're just talking about the 2017 forward and trying to reconcile that?
Well, whatever the outcome here is, I guess I'm going to be subjected to it. I don't agree that I own this personal property, which was the furniture in 2016. It was probably thrown in the dumpster in 2015 or taken by the association, but it had no value.
So you're contesting the value and your ownership of the property that's being
Right.
taxed. I want to clarify.
I also have a question, but I don't know.
To the chair.
That's,
Chairman, may I may, okay. So my question is, because this was an LLC that owned the property, and I was a member of the LLC, what is the statute or law that allows you to come after an individual for an insolvent, closed LLC?
that's a great question. The taxes are old, and they're still old, right? We're simply accepting the assessor's office and the tax office to forgive the remainder of the years that you're requesting. So according to law, we still have the ability to request for that tax or that tax payment, because it was unfortunately, it was under you, I guess, because you were one of the partners.
I was a member, yeah, of the LLC.
Could you have any contact with any other members?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any contact with any other members of the LLC?
No, they're either deceased or retired or no conflict.
Yeah, so unfortunately it falls upon you that you're the person that the city is going after. So it is.
So they can convert a tax liability from an LLC to an individual?
I don't think it's being converted. I think the fact that you had an office space and you were paying taxes for that space, that usage,
Paid so much money.
And because, yeah, it's not,
Okay.
I don't think you were paying for the actual condo, just for the
No.
space being used.
Okay, terrific, thank you for answering that.
I believe that, given the information you provided,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense for the 851.79 to be completely erased, which means you won't owe anything else or anything further. That's just my suggestion, and then we'll make a determination at the end if that's what the committee wants to do.
Okay,
It just seems prudent to do that, given the information you provided, the dissolvement of the dissolution of the business, and any additional questions or remarks?
I just need a statement of testimony, please.
Yeah.
In what year did you cease to own the furniture that's being taxed? In what year did the LLC cease to own the furniture being taxed, please?
I believe it was 2015.
What date approximately in 2015?
If I can find, I don't
By
know.
your best recollection, so in 2015, but not 2016.
I remember selling the last residential unit and I walked outside and there was an FBI investigation for a dismembered body at the end of the street.
I recall that.
Yes.
It was outside.
They found the other part on ground.
It was summertime.
I think it was summer.
Summertime of 2015.
So I don't know exactly about the disposal of furniture, but I do remember.
Thank you for
That
that
was
clarity,
it.
and I regret that that was your time marker. It was a sad finding anyway.
Well, thank you for rehashing that over. Thanks. Any additional questions you would like to make?
No further.
Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I would like to call to the table Dramone K. Sykes. Dramone K. Sykes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay if you'd like to listen to the deliberation.
Thank you.
That was Marcy Lynn Jones.
You can state your name and address for the record.
Ramon Sykes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I apologize.
Proceed.
Ramon Sykes, 25 Farmer Road, New Haven, Connecticut, 06501.
Please state your case.
Okay, so, well, it's a couple of things, actually. The first thing is, I have a Dodge Journey, that was, I don't want to say illegally registered in my name, but, I only owned the car for a week, and it was taken back by the car company. And they've been charging tax, I guess they didn't return the plates or anything, so they've been charging taxes on me for God knows how long. But I never owned that car or anything like that, so that's the first thing.
So the 09 Dodge
Yes.
was owned by you for a week.
1 week, and it was probably less than a week, it was probably like 5 days. I was just moving too fast as a young man, trying to buy a car without a license. So the bank basically took the car back.
Which, yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, fortunately that, and, but I did not own the car, so I just don't feel like I owe those taxes personally. I feel like that's not on me, and if it is, I should probably sue the car company because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So,
Indeed.
yeah, so that's the first thing. So the second thing is, in November of 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 3 B-cell Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. And it attacked my immune system and things like that. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to work at the time. I wasn't able to be around family, wasn't able to be around my kids. I had to get a separate apartment that my family, fortunately for them, they got together and was paying my bills and things like that for maybe, I want to say, till about the middle of 2024. So I was like unable to work. I did just purchase the car that July. And like I said, my family helped me out a lot with bills, and once I was able to keep the car in my apartment, you know, to get to appointments, doctor's appointments, I had surgeries, all types of things. But it was just very hard to work at the time. So, and it's still hard to work right now. I actually tried to go to work in 2014, 2024, I tried to go back to work to try to get some money, you know, my bills were building up and things like that. And unfortunately, I just kept getting sick due to my immune system. So I wasn't able to work and still not able to work at this time. I'm trying to get back into work now, just looking for a remote job to work at home so I could try to get some money to pay my bills. But right now, I'm just going through a lot of financial hardship. I was looking for some help from the committee to try to do the right thing. You know, I need to register my car so I can go to work if I need to go to work. Because right now, it's been sitting in my mom's parking lot. She won't let me drive it. She won't let me drive it, so it's been sitting in my mom's driveway since early May. Like I said, it's been hard to do anything without a registered car.
I got one question and then I got one suggestion. Sure. The question is, what's your ask of us tonight?
My ask is to relieve me of this tax bill.
Well, you have a couple. You have
Well,
2021.
That's what I said, from the time that I couldn't work, so from 2022 to about now, basically, anything before that, minus the Dodge, obviously, you know, I'll be willing to pay or try to see if my mom or family can help me pay that, but I need to do something so I can register this car. I have custody of my daughter, you know, I take her to camp and stuff like that. It's very hard to move around without a vehicle right now.
Okay. Since the car has been parked, have you turned it on at all?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
Any car that's not off for a long time tends to deteriorate.
It's only been off since May, because the registration's been, ended this May, this year. So it's only been parked since.
Don't drive it, but just turn it on for about 10 minutes and then turn it off. Do it like every 3 months.
Don't drive.
Yeah.
No.
Turn it on.
Just turn it on for 10, 15 minutes and then turn it off every 3 months or so. That allows for the fluids to continue to circulate. Because when it comes to transmission and motor and engine and, you know, everything tends to, you know, go all the way to the bottom. And then you have some particles creating, you know, space for some air. And so then it starts deteriorating because then it could get a little bit of, what do you call that?
Erosion.
Oxidation and sludge and starts.
Affecting
Yeah.
time.
So, Alder, questions? Alder Wingate.
So the tax bill that I see, if we eliminated the Dodge and just supported you with taking away the interest, you know, the math part is what I'm looking at.
Just, to put that out there, I'm actually not working at the moment, so anything that I would have to pay would be coming from family and donations and things like that, so we all know how that goes.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, first of all, I'm glad you're back
Appreciate it.
and you're a survivor. And keep fighting. Most definitely keep fighting. Hopefully they, I don't know if you look into some other agencies or some entities that may can help the situation.
No, I just, I believe I talked to this young man over the phone and he gave me the suggestion of bringing this to you guys. That was
Yeah, absolutely.
that was my only, but that was the only thing I've done to, that's the only thing I know what to do.
No, you're at the right place. There's no two ways about it. I mean, as we go into discussion, I will go into that same mode of 90 days or whatever it is that we can extend for some kind of payments, to opposed to trying to get it all at once.
As soon as I get to work, I'm willing to pay, you know what I mean? I just, if if that is the case, I would just ask of the council if there was some way that I could get something to register my car so I can work. I don't know if that's possible without, you know, I don't know what's
Yeah,
actually possible.
I would have to defer to Dawn.
No,
The answer is no.
wouldn't be able to afford a vehicle yet. Any additional questions? All works.
Just to do some math with Mr. Sykes, if that's okay, along the line of what you're talking about,
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
I just did some math, I pulled out my calculator. If we were to waive the tax on the Dodge Journey,
Yep.
which you did not know,
Mhm.
and if, as my colleague,
Wingate.
Mr. Wingate suggested we waive the interest, my math is coming out at 916.65. Are others in agreement with that? I took 1745.76. I took off 829.11. Oh, and
No,
then,
no. Excuse me.
please, I'm trying to do the math.
If you're taking the 1745.76, you have to subtract the 309.73, which is the tax.
Correct.
It comes out to $1,436.03.
Can I have that,
Yeah.
can I have that slower, please?
I rounded it up to 1436.
$1,436.03.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what my colleague and I were talking about.
thank you. So, and then the maximum amount that we could do that would be over 90 days, is your suggestion? Mr. Sykes, Mr. Sykes, I see you shaking your head. Can you please share with us your thoughts on us waiving interest and removing Dodge Journey, leaving you
Yeah.
with 1436 to pay over 2 months? Which would be approximately how much, Mr. Hayden? Do you have
5 months.
5 months?
5 months.
So do better math than me, somebody, please?
So it will be over 5 months.
So we're taking 1436
If we
divided
did
by
that.
5. If we did it, would leave you owing 287 a month.
I would say 288, just to be.
And it would require that all of that be paid before the car is used. Is that correct, Mr. Hayden?
That is correct. All the words.
I said, that's.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Hayden,
Gotcha.
thank you.
Well, it'd be a little less because of the 305.12 for this year, he only owes 152.56,
Thank you, Chuck.
half of the year.
So
Let me see, Mr.
you owe
Sykes.
2,577, 25, you owe almost $2,600.
Mhm.
If this committee were to, and this is based on my understanding from all the marks, if we were to waive the interest,
Mhm.
it will go down to 1436 with 3 cents.
And the tax for the Dodge.
Right. We would remove everything from the Dodge,
Mhm.
taxes and interest, if that would be considered, which means you will owe 1436. What do you say about that, given that it's been reduced by more than $1,100? We will split it in half, if you will.
What do I say about that? I mean, I thank you.
We haven't done
Still a
nothing yet, but
large,
if we were to consider that.
it's still a large amount of money when I don't have an income right now, and especially when I'm trying to get an income. Like I said, the use of the car would be amazing, just to find work, period. So it's just gonna be hard to even do that without my vehicle.
Okay.
Try to make it work, you know, but it's still hard, you know.
No, I hear you.
And 26, 14, it's the same thing to me because I have 0, you know what I mean? So.
I got you.
unfortunately, yeah.
Have you applied for disability by any chance?
I'm not eligible for disability according to the state of Connecticut.
Because you're too young. Have you paid your credits? Your credits?
Paid my credits.
Yeah, 40 credits. It's the Social Security Administration requires credits to be paid every year, 4 credits a year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm only 30 years old. I said the past 3 years of my life have been on pause. So,
What's Douglas?
Yes, thank you for all your trouble that you've been through. I'm sorry for that. But, okay, so you want to register a car. It's first, just go back to square one.
This car insured?
Yes,
It's already
yes, it
insured,
is.
so who's paying the insurance on
My family, actually.
your family?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, if you don't find employment and you get back in the road with this car, you're gonna be stuck with the same issue.
Yeah, but I definitely plan on finding employment, sir. I haven't been without a job until this time, until this whole cancer. I've been working at my family's business since I was 12 years old. Never been without a job. The only time I stopped working was because I had to. My resume speaks for itself. I will find out.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Alderman Gay.
Okay. If we reduce this to $1,000, I'm just saying, they can beat me up later. If we reduce this to $1,000, they gave you 5 months. That's $200 a month. Can you do that?
I'll make it work. I'm trying to find work tomorrow, so yes, we'll make it work.
I have no more questions.
Do you have an idea as to where you're gonna work, or have you started to apply?
Actually, I had to step out because, earlier because I had a call back from Yale to set up an interview, so I have an interview at Bridgeport Hospital coming up next week. So
Very good. I did notice that.
I have an email to prove it if you want to see it.
I think you work for it.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, could you please explain to this young man that, if he was to miss any of those payments, the consequences, if you go right back to square one.
He's not making payments.
You're not gonna be making payments, so what are you saying, spend it over 5 months?
You gotta take $200, put it in an envelope.
Say-
Because of car taxes, the tax office will not take partial payments, especially with giving of interest.
We'll excuse that.
But for general, may I?
Alderman Gay.
So, but for general knowledge, if I'm right, Mr. Hayden, as we go through our deliberations and we vote on something, this information goes to the tax office.
Correct.
Right? It goes to the tax office, so they will see, right, what is owed, what we came up with, right? And if, 3 weeks came and the sky opened up and blessed this man, right? And he wanna go down there and pay the $1,000,
Oh, yeah, he can pay early,
right?
not a problem.
Okay, so I just wanna, just for clarification, in reference to what we can and what we cannot do.
Well, the only thing, if you, when he goes to make the payment,
Mhm.
he has to come up here,
Mhm.
get a copy of the order,
That's right.
and take it down to the tax office, and they will reduce it by whatever. I will send the tax office a copy of the approved order,
Okay.
but we still request that they come up here and get the order because the clerks downstairs aren't gonna know.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Any other questions?
I have no other questions.
Any more questions from the committee members? Thank you for your time.
Wish you luck with the house.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Make sure that shirt and tie you want to have on for the interview be pressed.
I'd like to call Terrence Lee. Terrence
Lee said that, shirt and tie be pressed. That's it. He doesn't know.
Yes, if this committee decides to do whatever it wants to do, at the end of the 5 months, if the gentleman is unable to pay in full, everything's gonna come back up, the 25, whatever it is. Good evening, name and address for the record, please.
That's what I was.
Terrence Lee, currently homeless, but I use my aunt's address, 110 Dixon Avenue, Unit 15, New Haven, Connecticut, 06501.
State your case, Mr. Lee.
My case, like I just stated, I'm previously homeless. Born and raised in the city of New Haven, been here, been a vendor for over 30 years. Work with kids on the street, give kids jobs off the street, you know, and I work with chief with the kids. I do a lot of stuff in the community, man. And now I need the community. You know, I went through a real bad divorce um, 2 years ago, and I've been struggling ever since. Literally, like my ex-wife kept sending me to jail for nothing. Like one day the police woke me up and took me to jail, and that was the last time they said you can't go back in the house or nothing. So I got out of Union Avenue. They escorted me to get my vehicle and my CPAP machine, and said I couldn't get no clothes, no nothing. So I've been like really struggling. Like pastor and a friend of mine let me stay in the sober house for a little while, but it was until they got somebody else to stay there. So I was sleeping in my vehicle, and then a friend of mine said you could drive Lyft and you get paid every day. So I started driving Lyft, and I was able to pay for a room every night. You know, so now I'm staying in a hotel, but like I said, so I was waiting for a job to come through. So just yesterday, Social Security called me, came through. Job called me, came through. I don't have no vehicle. I have a vehicle. Forgive me. My vehicle's not registered. The registration ran out. So when I went to check into the registration, I got all these taxes that wasn't up there when I registered my car the last time. So I asked about it, and they said, yeah, sometimes it don't show, but when it shows, you got to pay for it. I'm like, well, how can I get prepared to pay for something that I don't know is there? So the way it showed up, like they said it'd be like dormant in the system, and then one day it'd pop up. That's what happened. Because when I registered my car, the other gentleman that was here last time, it was like I got it reduced because I was like 8,000. I paid 50 something $100 to in taxes that happened like the same way that I didn't know nothing about. But when I bought my vehicle, I couldn't even take the vehicle, and so I paid the taxes. So the gentleman that was here before showed me. Anyway, y'all gave me how you say, reduction, and I paid 50 something $100, and nothing else was there. Now all of a sudden I got these taxes, and I had no income. I had no way to pay it. Like, so what I'm asking you guys is if there's any way you can help me start fresh, man. I get these taxes taken care of, so I can. The job I just got yesterday can work for me, man. I've been looking for it. I've been not looking. I've been needing a job. I've been applying and everything. So now it all came through, and what I'm gonna do? Like, yes.
1 second, continue.
Like, what I'm gonna do? Like, I'm trying not to get sensitive because it's a real sensitive matter. Like, all my life, I gave. So I'm not here. I am begging. Let me correct that. I'm not asking for nothing just to get around something. I'm asking for something because I'm not able. All my life I've been able. So this is difficult for me. This is very difficult. It's very difficult for me to even be here to ask you guys, because not from shame or pride, but just from being in the situation. So my thing is, if I can get some help, I'll be all right, man. I can't do it without no help. And it's like a catch-21. If I don't get no help, I'm gonna be in a worse situation than I'm already in. Like, how much worse you gonna get? Like death or whatever. Like, so my thing is, I have to get help. I have to get help. There's nothing else I can do. I have to work. I don't want nothing for free. I don't like even yesterday, Social Security called me. They approved me. 10 minutes later, the job called me. I'm jumping for joy. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. And then I'm like, how am I gonna get to work? Because the registration on my car is just sitting. So my thing is, I don't even know how to ask, man. I just need help. I just need help. Like, literally, I need help. And whatever I need to do, if I can do it, I can do it. But I can't do anything with no income. And I don't get people jobs. Now here I am with no job, no income. Not from doing no crack, not from shooting no cocaine, just from a bad situation. Life. And I don't use drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a community man. I do things for the community. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I thank you for what you do for the community, and I thank you for coming down here and asking for help. You know, sometimes we can't ask for help because our pride doesn't let us.
I don't have no pride.
But thank you for coming down. Open the gate.
I just, looking at what this looked like, you know, there's a numbers thing, right, in reference to what that looked like for interest. First of all, I should say, thank you for your candidness and honesty around this stuff. And also, I'm glad that you got some prospects coming down for you. If we forgive the interest, what that look like?
2981. But before we go there, Alder, we're gonna get you going. Do you still have any of the vehicles that is listed? You got a 2011 Mercedes and a 2019 Ram.
No, the only thing I have is the Ram.
Okay, so you don't have the 2011 Mercedes.
No.
Okay. Open the gate.
Thank you so
No,
much.
go ahead.
So the entire amount, taxes and interest, is $36.85, $3,685 with 55 cents. If we were to get rid of the interest, it goes down to $2,981
$2,900.
and 81. That's the interest. That's the tax. That's two money. If we were to reduce the interest entirely and just ask for the taxes of $29.81, let's do the same thing that we've done all day. Let's take a look at 5 months. Let's say you begin working tomorrow, plus your social security kicks in within 5 months, $29.81. That's $596 a month.
Dude, I'm homeless. How am I going?
I hear what you're saying.
I'm
I'm just doing numbers. I'm doing numbers right now.
I mean, if there's something I can do after, you know, I'm willing.
Let's say you start working tomorrow and your social security kicks in this month, and you're able to accumulate 5 months worth.
So let me give you this. So I had to call the job back because talking to my sister, she explained to me that I can't work full time with the benefits. So I had to call back and beg them to give me the job part time. So they gave me the job part time, and so I don't mess the benefits up because I've been waiting for the benefits the whole time as well. So there's no way. This is going to be a fresh start. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
I don't have a place to lay my head, so I have to try to focus on that first. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm still going to have to pay my registration. I'm not asking you to waive that. I have no problem trying to get the money up to pay that. Like I said, I drive and lift. It's just that you only can make a certain amount of money a day.
I understand 100%.
And that goes to the hotel, and then to gas the car back up for the next day, and I have a little left over to eat.
I understand you 100%.
Until I get work. You understand what I'm saying to you?
I got you. But per your statement, you had to beg to bring down to a part-time.
So, yeah.
Would the full-time have given you more had you stepped notice to the benefit? That's what you had to consider.
Say that again.
So if you would have worked a full-time job, Social Security would not kick in.
Right.
Would you have received more as a full-time versus the benefits?
But I have a lot of help.
I got you. That's just a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it.
I don't have a problem answering. I just want you to understand my answer. I have a lot of medical issues, like severe medical issues. So like it wouldn't weigh up.
I hear you. But we're looking at everything. Additional questions, comments? All the way.
Yeah, I don't think you should disclose your medical issues,
Right.
right? So that's why I'm waving my hands to say, no, don't do that. You understand that there's medical issues. I know, perhaps some of my colleagues may have some questions, so I would, okay. Alderman Miller? No, I defer to you. I'm gonna come back.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to request that we get a presentation from the tax assessor about how it is handled when somebody doesn't have the ability to pay their taxes. I heard we have this 18%, that's news to me. You know, we have, my understanding, this is my first time on this committee, this term, we have an approach when people can't pay. We generally we eliminate the interest and then ask them to figure it out. I do think it's a little demeaning to people to be like, hey, can you pay this? You know, we know people can't pay. So there's a system in place. And we need to understand that system so we can integrate that to whatever extent into our decision-making. But we also at the same time can't say that everybody in the city who can't pay their taxes, just like we're gonna waive them. That's not something we can do. So I think I'm uncomfortable with the asking people like, can you pay this amount per month? It's not our role to be engaging in budget planning with people at this committee.
Right.
We should understand what the system is, refer them to that office so they can work that out privately with the office, with their families, whatever the system is. I do think most of these cases are pretty straightforward. There's people who can't pay. We are open to, generally open to eliminating the interest. And that's what we do in this committee. I mean, we could eliminate it entirely, but that wouldn't be fair to everybody else in New Haven. So
Everybody's situation is different too.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like,
So it's not really a question so much as just a request to you that we have that presentation so that we are all better informed, because so many of the cases are exactly like this. And we feel for you and we want to say, oh, like, we love for nobody to have to pay taxes, but we can't run a city that way. So I just want to get that information going forward.
So this is why this committee exists, particularly for these types of scenarios. So every case is different, but that's why we're here, to ask the questions and do our due diligence. And if we have to unfortunately ask questions that might feel uncomfortable, that's just the case. We understand and sympathize with every person that comes before us, but this is why some people are in this committee and some people are not. Because unfortunately it can get a little bit, uncomfortable, but we have to do our due diligence to ensure that we ascertain the issue at hand of why aren't you able to pay, and we give them that opportunity. Are you able to pay that? Because ultimately we can just say, we'll waive the interest and that's it, or we won't waive anything. Theoretically, we can say, unfortunately, we don't waive anything at all because it's your responsibility to pay for the tax, and if you didn't pay it in time, it's still your responsibility. Whether you had a hardship or not, it's still your responsibility. Mm-hmm. But we as a committee, we can, start to sympathize for the members of the public and take into consideration, are they an Army veteran? Do they serve in the community? Have they been active? What is their background as community leaders or whatnot, and try to see if we can give back to them as well, But every case is different. Every case is, we can certainly get a presentation, but this is why the committee has been built to listen to these cases, and with the committee's, decision, we can then proceed as to how we're gonna handle the situation. That's what it takes the committee to make the final determination, and not just one individual. Alder Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for you.
yes, sir.
You said you drive Lyft, right?
Yes, sir.
You drive Lyft for the pickup truck?
I was, yes.
They let you drive Lyft with the pickup, raise up off the ground?
Want me to show you?
Yeah.
Done.
I can answer Alder Miller's question about the program they have down in the tax office. There is none for motor vehicles. You pay the taxes, or you don't pay the taxes.
Bottom line.
That's it for automotive.
Bottom line.
And at the end of 17 years, it goes into the uncollectible,
Ask that question.
which we were supposed to do tonight with the tax collector.
Huh?
So, to your point, Don, we've been doing this for a little while now, through the chair. This is what we do.
Oh, sorry, thanks for the question.
I got a question.
Thank you.
Right now, I have a rental car from Lyft, so it's the top car.
Would you give you a Tesla?
No, I don't want it. But you see, my car is the car. You just asked that. It's
The
a
Ram.
question.
Okay.
I don't lie, brother. I'm here to get help. I'm not gonna tell you, come here and tell you something just to get help. I'm not. I'd rather help myself, but I'm not able.
Yes. Okay, so the Lyft.
It's the rental.
Right, so this one says personal vehicle.
Personal
But you
vehicle.
don't use it for Lyft at all?
Don't use what, brother?
The truck,
That's what I'm showing you. I use it for.
I'm just asking you a question. I'm just asking you a question.
But you asked me a question and I gave you the
And I'm
answer.
just asking you a question.
Yes, sir, but it's right in your face, sir. That's what I'm saying. You asked me a question.
All right, okay, so,
Yes, I use the vehicle for Lyft. That's what I
That's
showed
all I
you.
want to know.
Yes, sir. But it was in your hand. That's all I'm saying to you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But you asked me a question. I'm
Well,
telling you.
you
yes.
sounded a little disrespectful.
So
I
ask and
apologize,
answer.
sir. I don't know how to sound disrespectful.
Point of order.
But
I'm gonna
I
ask for point of order.
apologize. Sorry.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Asked and answered. Let's proceed. Alder Marks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How did you find out about this committee, please?
City, like, I do a lot of work with people in the city and stuff, and people found out about my situation, and it was, ask this, ask that, go talk to this person, call this person, see if they can help you, things of that nature. Like I said, I work with Chief Jacobson, I work with a lot of people that's excuse me, in the city, that knows things, so they told me where I can get help, they don't need help.
It's not a question, Mr. Chair. It's important for me to understand the process here, so we're treating everyone fairly. And what expectation were given? What were you told this committee could do?
I was told the committee could do what Mr. Presco was saying, and Mr. Wingate was saying, like, they can eliminate the bill, they can break the bill down by,
Years. By what?
No, excuse me, it's
break
important.
the interest down, and those are the ways they can do it. They can either do this, either do this, or they cannot do that. Just like they just explained it, man. That's what I was told, and that's why I'm here, because that's what I need, help.
Those are-
I just want to clarify the question of expectation, just because I heard my colleague stating that, in general, we waive interest, but not the tax bill itself. Just in general? I just want to know your expectation regarding the tax bill versus the interest. I just want to hear what he came to us for.
In general, we might with the interest, but we don't always have to leave it.
But regarding the tax bill itself, we generally don't waive the tax bill. Taxes are due, the schools run based on it, the police need it, we gotta collect taxes. I'm not challenging Mr. Jack.
No,
I'm just asking, I just want to ask him what his
Case by
expectation.
case. It's a
I
case by
want to know
case.
your expectation was of what you thought we could do. But I heard your answer, sir.
Exactly what I said, man.
Thank you.
I came to seek help for what I need. I know that everybody else's situation was different. I heard everybody else's situation was different, but similar, because no one has the money. So, but everybody's situation is different. Why you don't have the money, or what happened to the money, or things of that nature, man. My situation, to me, is personal. I'm not concerned about nobody else's situation, because somebody else might can't deal with it, or maybe I said the wrong thing. Not can't deal with it, but someone else might be in a situation for a different reason. You get what I'm saying?
I understand, sir. Thank you.
So everybody's situation is different. I know mine is different because I earn mine. I'm not nobody that come to nobody with their hand out asking for nothing. Like, it take me a lot to be here, man. Right? And it take me a lot, and I'm not here, you know. Yeah, I'm here asking for what I need, but whatever I'm willing, whatever y'all need me to do, if I can do it, I'm willing to do it. But I'm not gonna say yeah for you to help me to say I'm gonna do something that I know I can't do neither. If you tell me, okay, I'm gonna do it and it sounds good, yeah. But if I know I can't do it, why would I say yeah, put myself in a worse situation?
Thank you for your frankness and openness to conversation. Thank you, sir.
Alder Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What you do? Did you think about selling your vehicle?
No, because I just got it reduced through dire need. So, like you were saying, I just got my payments cut in half and everything to work in my favor. So, especially with the job and all this stuff, everything's going forward, but it's just not moving forward quick enough. Like, I've been homeless for a few years. So everything's working in my favor, but it just hasn't moved quick enough, sir. And it's, again, if you feel like I disrespected, I never came here for that. So I want to apologize again. It's not what I came here for. Came here for help.
Thank you, Alder Douglas. So, given what you just stated, and again, it's a case by case. You know, we can certainly do, this committee has the authority to do whatever it needs to do. But in the interest of everyone, not just who we have before us, but the interest of everyone, we also have to hold, you know, every single individual to you know, accountability for what they use, because you utilize the vehicles, you've had the taxes, you've paid in the past. So if we were to waive $704, which is the interest, if we waive that in full, you still have $29.81. That means you have approximately $3,000 you still got to pay. If we were to reduce that about 45 to 47%, it goes down to about $1,500. And if you were to be given 5 months to pay that, that's about $300 a month. What do you say about that? Where do you feel? I mean, and ultimately, it's not saying that we're gonna do that. It's just.
It's just that me committing to it, especially I heard the gentleman, Mr. Douglas, say that it's a penalty if you don't pay it. So I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation.
Well, there's no penalty. The penalty is you owe everything back.
Yes.
You owe $36.85 as of today. If we were to reduce that by $2,100, that's almost 2/3. It goes down to $1,500. You got 5 months. You're gonna start working tomorrow. Plus your social security's gonna kick in.
But how am I going to get the car registered and everything to go to work tomorrow? I still can't go to work tomorrow.
I hear you. You still owe the taxes.
Right, no, but you asked me a question. I have to answer the question honestly. Because you asked me, it's almost like a trick question.
Not a trick question. It's a direct question.
No.
So if I start, I mean, first of all, it would be a blessing if you could do that. First of all, let me start and say that. Could I pay it in 5 months? Probably yes, if I started working right away, right? I think you're forgetting, or maybe not, but I'm homeless. I'm really homeless. Like, I don't know, I'm really homeless. Like, so I don't know. If I don't start working tomorrow, then I'm committing to something that I can't do. You get what I'm saying to you? That's what I don't want to do. The money I'm working with, making with different, I can show you that. It's not making it. Like I say, you only can work 12 hours a day with it, right? After that, they shut you off. It's an average of $20 to $21 to $23 an hour, right? So in about 12 hours, I'm making between $250 to $300 if it's bonuses. You know, they give bonuses and stuff like that. If there's no bonuses, brother, I might make $150. So for me to commit to something, knowing how the system is, I'm lying to you. I didn't come here to lie to you. I come here to be honest.
I hear you. All the way.
So,
Okay. So we can't base these numbers off that.
Right, exactly.
That's not gonna happen, right? So what's happening now, it seems like to me, you're about to turn the corner, right?
I'm so sorry.
Right? Social Security kick in, right? You got this job that's coming aboard, right? Right? You gotta get somebody to help you get to work, right? Like you gotta get support on someone getting you to work. Because for the simple fact, right? To keep the integrity of what we're doing, right? We gotta do something, right? So we are really stretching it, right? Like 36 to 1,500 basically, right? So 5 months, that don't mean that you have to pay it tomorrow, right? What we're saying is within the 5 months, you gotta complete the 1,500, right? Right? Just like Don said earlier, right? Someone has to take an envelope and put the $200 in the envelope, right? So within the 5 months, you gotta complete the task of the 1,500, right? So like the help that we're trying to give is some natural, right? It's a big help, right? And right, that's the way we have to look at it because we understand you get to work. We want you to get to work. We understand that the Social Security just kicked in, right? That gonna take some time to go through the system, right? That gonna take some time through the system. But as you go through the system with the process, we also going through the system with you, right? Because you're not saying tomorrow you gotta get the 1,500. You're saying in 5 months you gotta get the 500.
But when I pay to register my vehicle, see.
I get that part, right? And that's the challenge, right? Like we doing our part as much as we can in reference to reducing the opportunity for you to even get that done, right? And God knows I'm not telling you to drive that car and register, right? That's not happening. That could be a recipe for disaster all the way around, right? But my suggestion is that, you take a hard look at it, try to get somebody to support you getting to work, right?
Support me for 3 years, bro.
I can dig it, right? Like get somebody to try to support you to get to work for at least until your Social Security kicks in financially, and maybe some come out the sky as well, and you can pay this off and get your car registered. That's an option for you. That's one option for you in reference to where we at right now, right? Because like we almost cut this thing in half.
More than that.
More than
Alderman Miller.
I'm sorry for what you're going through. Are you aware of resources in the community to help you? I mean, it sounds like you've been involved, so there are a lot of resources. The city has a financial empowerment center. That's not the role of this committee, so I mean, it's not to budget plan with you. It's really just to figure out what's fair, as Alder Crespo said, in the context of everything else. So are you aware of other resources and seeking other resources? And you don't have to answer now, but just for you to know that they're there and that we're also available, offline to help you access them if you're not already connected.
You're saying to know that they're there for.
To advise you, to support you. There's other, not always cash resources, but other kinds of assistance that's available, signing you up for benefits, other things. So just want to remind you that there's a lot of resources in the community and in the city beyond just the relief of your tax bill.
Yes,
Yeah. And if it'd be helpful, I think we're all familiar with different resources and happy to talk offline after the meeting.
Good. Any other questions? Concerns? Thank you for your time.
So you stay, hang around, or you can.
thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'd like to call the tax collector. Going once. I'd like to call the tax collector twice. Do I see the tax collector anywhere? No, okay. Does anybody wish to testify in favor or against items 1 through 5? Does anybody from the public wish to testify at this time? Does anybody from the public wish to testify? Madam? Please call. No, you're good. Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Okay, sure. My name is Nicole Benson, 25 Pine Rock Road in New Haven.
And what is your testimony?
I'm asking you to consider everything that was said and to help people as much as you can, just like you've been offering. It's a wonderful thing. And I can attest that my son at one point did work for this man. And it's hard times, it's hard out here. And I've been in my house 23 years and the taxes have gone through the roof. And at one point, we even had to pay to park in front of our house because we live by Southern Connecticut. So, you know, just resources are stretched. We do understand that there are resources available, but there are people that need way more than we do. So thank you, and I'm in favor of 1 through 5.
Thank you. Does anybody from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 5? Does anybody from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 5?
Can I testify?
Sure. You sure you want to deliberate? Douglas?
Mr. Douglas, do you want to do as part of deliberations, the chair's asking?
Don't you want to do deliberation?
No, I'm going to testify. I want to testify. You said anybody from the public.
You can.
Want to testify. I want to
Just
testify.
making sure you heard the
You
chair.
certainly
I'm
can.
testify.
You can do a deliberation or you can
Okay,
testify.
so on behalf of the case of Mr. Lee,
Your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry, Frank Douglas, 570 Elm Street, New Haven, Connecticut.
Please testify.
Recuse myself from the committee. Okay, thank you. I've seen this young man in the neighborhood many times. He's a hustler. He works his behind off. He does give back. I'm going to support waiving the fees myself also. I believe this woman that just testified, we do have to take a hard look at what's around us, who's around us, and what people are going through. People are going through some really tough time. And I know this man, I don't know him personally, but I have seen him around. He sells dinners out of his car to make money. He's a hustler. So I think, personally, I believe he's gonna uphold and do what he says he's gonna do. So I wish we could really do something for him. So that's my case. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to testify on items 1 through 5? Do you want to testify, sir? Please come up.
What question, sir?
Would you like to testify?
No, not yet.
There's
I'll talk to you after.
There's no questions at this
I
time.
have one.
No questions, you can testify. You can say what you want to say.
Yeah, because I want to say only I have to,
Have a seat
thank you very much.
and tell me your name and address for the record.
Because I want to say maybe it's okay for, I have my check every month for $1,600, okay, paid my check for.
So if I can have your name and address for the record,
Okay, my name is Franklin Kubi.
what is your testimony? Or what's your address?
Yeah, I want to say.
What's your home address?
83 Mill River Street, New Haven, Connecticut.
And what is your testimony?
Thank you. I want to try to say maybe it's okay for I got my check every month for $1,600 for my retirement. It's okay for pay the tax. If my check $1,600 will discover the bad balance I have. It's okay for me, guys, because I'm not working. I have only my check, so I want to every month we will check in for the taxes.
Thank you for your testimony. That's it? Thank you for your testimony.
Thank
Mhm. Does anybody else from the public wish to testify in favor or against items 1 through 5? Does anybody from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 5 in favor or against? And lastly, does anybody from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 5? Hearing none, I would like to close the public portion. I'll take a motion.
I'll move to close the public portion.
Second.
It has moved in second. Discussion, seeing none. All in favor to close the public portion of this meeting, please indicate with an aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? I hereby close the public portion of this meeting. Committee members, what would you like to do? Evidently, the tax collector wasn't here, so we are going to skip number 1. I'll entertain motions from 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I'll move.
Can we start with them individually or?
I would recommend individually, yes.
I would move that we waive the interest.
Move the item.
Yeah,
Move the item.
Okay.
Second.
The item.
The item has been moved, it has been seconded. Discussion. Alderman Gay, Alderman Miller.
Item 2.
Item two.
Item 2.
Two.
I couldn't hear. Item two.
Item two.
Item
So my
For
suggestion,
clarity, item 2 has been moved by Alder Miller.
Discussion.
Alder Woodgate seconded, and we're now in discussion. Alder Miller has the floor.
I would suggest, given the clear, I think it's clear that he did not get the tax bill, that I think it's reasonable that he would not have known that he owed this money, given that he went to the tax office, et cetera. So I would propose that we eliminate the interest and that we give him a year to pay the taxes due, given the size and given his low income.
Alder Marks. I'm sorry,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Alder Douglas had the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You had,
I
you
will.
want to yield? Alder Marks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate Alder Miller's suggestion. I am suggestion regarding waiving some portion of this. I am not compelled by the fact that he didn't get notice. And I think it's really important that people know they need to pay taxes. I think that Mr. Coovey also knew he needed to pay taxes. What's dispositive and important to me in this case that Mr. Coovey was going to the tax office on a regular basis and making inquiries. And if he's going to the office and being told he owes nothing, for many different reasons this could be occurring, to me that's the issue that puts a pin on it here for me as a different issue. I absolutely want to waive the interest. I am concerned though that we're being concerned, don't know what I'm gonna vote, that we're being unfair to Mr. Coovey because we can only do a year, and sort of this misinformation he was getting from the tax office has now set him up with an amount to pay that, given his retirement status, he can't pay. And I just wanted to put for discussion to the committee the fact that I think an error on behalf of the city has set him up right now and jammed him with a certain amount of money that he's not able to pay at this point. And I just wanted to hear from my colleagues what they thought about that issue.
Alder Douglas.
So on this case, I can confer with what he's going through because I personally have faced the same issue with the tax office where I went down there several times to check on my balance on my my taxes, and tell me they're clear. Several times I've done this. And then finally, going up back again, and I talked to another person down there, and they said, "Oh yeah, I did find something for you." Well, I mean, so there's human error here. There's human error, and it can happen, and I know it can happen, and I know you all know that it can happen too. So I will go with Alder Miller's request.
I'm clarifying, Mr. Chair.
Alder Marks.
Along with what I was saying, I was actually perhaps suggesting that we lower some of the taxes due as well. Alder Miller's, given that we've the city has jammed him with an amount that he may not do. So I just want to be clear that I am asking the committee to perhaps go down on the tax itself.
Alder Wingate.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I know it was proposed at one time, 27. 100, my suggestion was the 2,500, which will be cutting into the taxes as well. But I want to make sure that we have, I don't want it to run into paperwork disparity, because sometimes human error is human error. Not to shun my colleague to the right, but I thought 6 months will be better than the year, considering that the year is gonna potentially run into a manual error again, possibly. So from talking to Don, the 6 months will be cleaner to do. So what I'm asking is for us to go down to 2,500 in 6 months, to oppose to the 27. So we
So reducing,
So the
Yes,
point of
question.
clarity is 12 months with the 2,500 or 6 months, 2,500?
6 months, 2,500.
So we got 12 months to pay 79,8809. We have suggestion to reduce over the year from you.
My suggestion, I think, to clarify is, my suggestion would be just suggestion, I don't know if it's what I'll vote, but to propose removing the interest completely, perhaps removing half of the base tax, and then doing that over 6 months. Just, I'm concerned he got jammed, the amount is just frankly unfair.
So
I mean, I'd like to
taxes,
see it extended over, I'd like to see the city recoup its money. So I'd like to see this extended, say, over 3 years, for the sake of the 3 years. I'm hearing from staff that's not possible.
so, point of clarity, reduce taxes completely. I'm sorry, reduce the interest and have 12 months of the taxes that he owes. Reduce completely the interest plus cutting down the taxes, like you said, 50%.
Just a suggestion for discussion.
You are in favor of what Alder Miller was saying, so you're the same, and you are thinking 2,500 over a 6 month period. Okay.
For everybody, what is that amount? I'm sorry.
So that is a cut within the tax itself, right? Because, yeah, it is. Because,
2,500 total.
yes.
I just want to be, I'm having trouble understanding.
No,
Put it
No,
clear.
no, I'm sorry. 2,500 that you have to go and pay aside.
Yes.
How much each month?
Because you remember that the taxes are gonna go up to 10,000 plus
Yes.
with 2024. Done.
Just to remind you, the past due taxes is 7,900,
7988, yes.
whatever, close enough.
Yeah.
As of the 1st of July, he's got an additional 3,400
Mhm.
roughly for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're aware of that, because that's
Yep.
not in there.
No, we're aware.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't understand Alderman Hitt's math. I think you two maybe had some conversation, but I need somebody to catch me up on the math being done by Alderman Hitt, please. I see some notes that I haven't been privy to with the math.
So,
Let me clarify Alderman Gates, what's been suggested by Alderman Hitt.
so after doing the math, I believe that I don't think it was 25 or 2,600.
Yeah,
Was it?
it was, we rounded up to 27, I said 25.
Can you please explain where that math is coming from, please, Mr. Chair?
It's just a matter we were coming up to see what would be the most reasonable if we were to reduce anything. So we took the total and divided by 3 or maybe 5 months, I forget.
That's what we did.
And I don't have that calculator with me, so I can't tell you. But I think it was, we reduced the total of, I believe he's gonna owe 11,388 divided by 5 months.
The total 11,
Can we go slowly through this, Mr. Chair? I'm sorry.
11,388,
And is that 7,988 plus 3,400?
that is correct.
And what did you say the number was?
Divided by 5.
What was the number? 11?
11,388. 11,388.
And what were, okay.
Divide in your calculator by 5, in your mind.
And that would be, wait, I'm sorry. Mr. Chair.
Divided by
I'm working out, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
$11,388
Divided
Don't double it
by
again,
5,
Ms. Marks.
divided by 5.
2277 per month, but this was assuming no reduction
That would be no reduction.
of anything.
No reduction of the tax, of the interest.
Fine, the interest, reduction of
Interest
interest.
has been
Fine, this
reduced.
is Alder Miller's proposal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, her proposal is a 12-month to repay. So that means that it will go much smaller than that.
You're talking about reduction of interest only is
No.
what we're suggesting.
No. She's proposing if you were to pay 11,388 by 12 months, it'll be much less than he has to save a month.
I'm sorry.
Let me see
Sorry,
your
but-
calculator.
What I'm just trying to understand is what reduction we're talking about as opposed to what the payment plan is.
So
I'm
the-
not interested, I better be really clear. I'm not interested in payment plans. I don't think that's my job. I'm interested in reductions of city taxes. It's my job to collect taxes.
So if the taxes are
I'm
11,000.
so sorry. I'm so
That's
sorry.
not
It's
your
my
job.
job to review whether we do abatements of taxes.
That's right.
Thank
So
you.
it's 11,388.
Yeah.
Be a lot
A
more.
fiscally responsible.
Point of order.
Thank you, sir.
If the total is $11,388 and we were to divide that by 12, it's gonna be $949.
Mr. Chair.
Done. I'm sorry, Don.
If you go out a year, what will happen is
What Wingate
they
stated.
will get an additional $3,500 because it's now into the new
Correct.
fiscal year.
Which is
So
what the
if
rate was
you-
saying.
If you go really beyond 9 months plus before cleaning, you're just compounding the problem for the gentleman.
Indeed,
Mhm.
which was the recommendation of 5 months, because it will be the
5,
3
6
months plus 2 months. I'm sorry, the
But
2 months once we deliberate and the 3 months additional, 9 days. Alderman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not opposed to shortening the amount of time. I'm looking to do the maximum amount of time that would be feasible logistically for the city. Number
Because
one. Number two, I'm also not opposed to reducing the base amount of tax. What I'm interested in is something that feels less arbitrary than what's being proposed. So we have situations that repeat over and over. So in the situation, for example, which we have seen multiple times, of the tax office clearly making a clerical error or some other error. What is the appropriate reduction? So is there any sort of standard that we apply? 25%, 50%,
none.
whatever. Is there any precedent that we can look to? Because
No.
it seems to me it would be helpful for us to have some guidance, not that we have to follow it every time, but it feels very random and arbitrary to just like pick a number, and why does he get this number and somebody else will come next week and they get a different number just because we feel different. Like that doesn't feel right to me. So I'm wondering what is there any precedent we can point to, even though there isn't policy written down? Yes.
Done.
I can answer the precedent. It's normally the committee has forgiven the interest. If there's extenuating circumstances, like we had one a few months ago, where there was a question of when the individual took title of the property, that the taxes themselves, and in that particular case, the taxes were totally forgiven, the past taxes, because of that.
The church.
You remember that?
Mhm.
And then it's up to whatever decision
It's a case by
you
case.
wish to make. There is no cut and dry saying, okay, for this particular circumstances, we're gonna drop it by 25% or by 50% or whatever. That is a determination that you, and then be approved by the board, needs to make.
Yeah, I guess I would just say in the same way, Mr. Chair, that we have, that we generally, no? Are you?
No.
No, okay, that we generally eliminate the interest when there's a hardship or whatever. I think it would be helpful to pick something that we all feel is fair, not just in this instance, but potentially going forward, not that we're gonna be held to it, but as a reasonable response when there's a significant error on the tax office's end. I don't know if it's 50%. 50% seems reasonable to me. I'd be comfortable with that. But I would like for us to do it in a context and say, this is kind of what we're thinking going forward is a reasonable response when a similar situation comes forward, so we can then refer back and have some precedent going forward for similar kinds of decisions.
Really noted, all the way again.
Okay, so the item before us is, the second item before us is the interest of taxes, is to be removed, right? I'm clearly in favor of his interest be removed,
I think everybody in this committee
right?
will
Okay,
agree.
so after that, right, the taxes itself, right? What is the number? And I may be looking at it, but I'm asking how. What's the number? Chair, what is?
So we got 7,988 with 9 cents,
Okay, 7,988. So if we,
but he's gonna get a 3,400 in the beginning of what?
No.
Now, right?
right, so if we if we cut the taxes in half, his tax bill, to make it 3,500.
No, that won't, that doesn't make sense. Because we're not, you're also, you wanna cut just
No,
21, 22, and 23, correct?
yes,
And then going forward, pay taxes in full.
yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So what's the totality of that, if we can get the mathematicians around?
I mean, if you give me a second, I gotta do division. That's looking like 3,500, and then that's looking like 450, so 3,500, that's 450, we're looking at 40. So we're looking at potential of 3,944. Can you correct me, Don? I'm looking at 7,988 divided by 2,
39,
44,
94,
3,994, okay.
or 05 after that. 5 cents a change.
3,994.
Yes.
So instead of 3,994, just making it even 4,000. Reduce the 7,988, give them a 3,988 colorable error, if you will, benefit, and then reduce it to 4,000. That's what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
with 6 months, to put in the envelope, which he has been doing basically anyway, right? Trying to be proactive and be, that's my suggestion that we do. That's my position.
Additional discussion. Alderman.
I would just propose modifying that to do it an even 50%, so that it's not just a random amount that we're choosing, but is like reflective of a general approach that we're saying we want to take going forward. That would be fair to other people who come with a similar situation, so that they're treated in the same way.
I don't think that's what's gonna happen, so I completely get it, but sometimes it's easier to also reduce it to a flat even. We're gonna reduce it to this amount, at least in my opinion. And the colleagues can recommend theirs. So you think 50%, you think 4,000, I think 4,000, Alderman Marks.
I was gonna raise my hand at approximately tax Alderman Miller to make the same suggestion. I don't think the tax office has any problems doing specific pennies, and I like the idea of 50%
Okay.
and not an arbitrary amount, yes.
Alder, any suggestion?
I would go with that too.
What?
Just to make it simple. 50%.
So we would like to reduce the current 21, 22, and 23 taxes by 50%, waive the interest, and he has 5 to 6 months. Okay.
5 or 6 months, which is it?
Right, which is it?
I say 6.
6.
Agreed.
Are we moving?
Not yet. Alderman Gay.
I want to make my position clear on things, because I don't know, people change, seats change, things change. I've been on the board for a little while, and I know that this committee has a lot of power around it. So I don't want it to be said that we did this 50% and it's a precedent.
It isn't,
So
it is a
I just
one-time
want to
thing.
make it clear that I'm a firm believer of, individual based stuff happens. So we're gonna hold everybody to that space, the individuality. For me, that's my position around it, because it may be a different situation where it ain't 50%, it may be 30%.
There may be another chair that says no percent,
That's right.
and it's the prerogative of the committee to do.
I just wanna make it clear, so, no one is thinking, that I'm in support of just 50% around things all the time.
I agree.
Point of clarification. This 50% is not just, this 50% is for this particular case.
Yes.
All right, so that's what I'm.
Yes, but I just wanted to be clear about it.
Yeah. Alderman Miller.
I'll just add with respect, I disagree somewhat with my colleague. I think that ideally we want people to come to this committee with some, not that we are tied to it, but with some expectation of what is reasonable to expect and some level of fairness across different kinds of cases. It's odd to me that we would want to, have the power to do 30 or 50. I mean, we have that authority, but I think the more sort of standardization and predictability that there is in the decision making, the better for everybody, the better for us, and the better for the people who are looking for help. Not that anything is guaranteed, but there's some sense that this is what generally happens in these situations, and so that's what's reasonable to ask for, and then people are just treated fairly.
I think that everybody gets treated fairly every time they come to this committee, whether we give them 30, 40, or say you're not getting anything. We could say you're not getting anything waived, or you're getting everything waived. I think the committee has been able to establish themselves as doing the just thing in every circumstance. I don't see any one particular, in the last decade that I've been an elected official, I don't think the board has ever done anything, or the committee, that has been unjust or unreasonable. Every case is independent of its own, and I think that it's really hard to try to pinpoint its standardization when we have so many different cases and we have different variables, we have different, backgrounds and issues that come up. It's just tough, some people come with evidence, some people come without evidence, some people have cars, vehicles completely totaled, others have them sold, others have them stolen, others have them, taken back by the, issuing bank. Others lost it, others have them parked in their backyard. There's so many different variables that it's really tough to come up with one standardization, one cookie cutter fits all. It won't. Alder Douglas.
I agree with you, Mr. Chair. I don't think we can set that standard, because every single case is different here. We have to approach it just like that. We just can't put, well, it's 50%, because everybody's gonna come here with the idea, well, they're gonna reduce it. Like this gentleman said, somebody told him. Somebody's gonna tell somebody else and say, hey, it's 50%. We can't.
Alderman Gates.
That's dangerous.
I think it's a healthy discussion. I think it's more of a discussion, like not trimming to these topics. I think we should try to move on to items.
Alderman Marks.
If I may, just because we are having such a robust and important conversation, and I appreciate what Elder Lindy had to say and Dr. Douglas, and I agree that we are not setting a precedent here. It's a one-time situation, and it's probably germane to where we're going next, but, I also feel very strongly that times are tough, but times are tough for the city, and, the need to have taxes, tax revenue, we all agree that, and I think we are in a very awkward position in weighing hardships. How do you weigh somebody's homelessness or somebody's cancer diagnosis or somebody who didn't even know about our committee and didn't get the relief? And I think for me, there is a guiding principle here. I'll state for the record that owning a car and owning property are not a right in the city. It's important to me that these are, things that one does when one has the capacity to pay taxes. And, it's just really important that whatever the hardship and however tragic what's coming before us, it is a property tax that the city has no system for weighing other than this abatement committee. And it's, I think it's just, I appreciate what Alder Miller is asking, because like I said, how do you weigh somebody's tragic homelessness versus somebody's, cancer diagnosis? This is really not very hard for us to judge, because every human being who comes before us generally comes with a full heart and a compelling story. I don't feel we find many people before us who are asking gratuitously or asking unfairly, and the city charges taxes for cars.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just add, I don't think you obviate the need to have discretion by bringing a little bit more predictability and less arbitrariness to the decision making. And I'm happy to just leave it there. I just think it's worth saying that since I've been on the committee, the decisions have felt to me, when we reduce the taxes specifically, that those decisions have felt arbitrary, and that doesn't feel fair to me. So, I'm open to talking about what else that might look like. Of course, every situation is different, but it feels wrong to have people have to come and if the more severe cases, we reduce it more, it's 15% versus 10%, it feels random, and that randomness doesn't feel right. But I'm happy to just leave it there as a question and move on for now.
Alderman Douglas.
I concur with my colleague. I think that's another conversation at another time, because we are taking up time from these folks here who would
Yes.
like to get their cases deliberated.
With all the respect to the Douglas, they can go home and they can call down tomorrow morning if they have to go. This is why we're here. We are doing the business of the public. So we have to stay here till midnight. So we have Alder Wingate.
Thank you, Chair. You're absolutely right in reference to that comment just now, right? I think that as leaders, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. You have to make decisions that's not popular. Sitting in this committee is different than most committees, right? That's the unique part about this committee, right? And I think that we should keep this uniqueness to itself. That's why I wouldn't want to have a patent 50%, 60%. I wouldn't want to have a patent on it, right? I wouldn't have that, right? Folks hear about this in the community and come and talk to the alders and see where they at, right? And my interest is the same. My interest is the same for us to, making sure the city run and all that as well, right? We've been on this board for a little while. We'll figure it out. You always do, right? But this is about people. This is about individuals. So my position is still my position in reference to things. I don't think we should standardize a situation around percentages. I think we should hear the people, and that our expectations and let our heart and mind lead what we think we should be doing for the people that stand before us. That's my position.
Agreed. So moving forward, the motion to table this, I believe it's now a friendly amendment at this point, reducing the taxes by 50%, waiving the entire interest, and giving the gentleman 6 months.
Yeah.
All in favor, please indicate it with an eye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it. I'll entertain motions for items 3, 4, and 5.
I move item 3.
Do I hear a second? Motion has been moved and seconded. Alderman Gay, what do you propose for this item?
So this is the gentleman that came up in reference to the Dodge that was not his. And he put the paperwork up there.
No, this is not that.
That's four.
This is that's number 3. We're looking at 3.
Church Street Farm?
Mr. Warwick.
The furniture,
Mr. Warwick.
the furniture.
Oh, that was the main LLC. To the furniture.
Yes.
The LLC.
I think it's a wash. I think it's think we don't owe him anything.
We're on 580.
Yeah, we're gonna reduce that number, the 851.79. And he was trying to get back $582.90. I don't think we gave him back that.
I don't think so.
I think we had a zero balance with that person.
So you would recommend to waive the taxes, interest, and lien
Yes,
to zero,
yes.
and that's it?
I just have a question for Mr. Haynes.
Alderman,
So this 582, that's an excess amount that he paid? He paid
That's
too
what
much?
he paid back in May. And the tax office applied it to those three accounts, those 3 years.
So if we do eliminate this amount, would they then automatically pay this amount back as like a credit?
No,
No,
Why is that?
because
he still owes 15 and 16 and part of 17.
I think the way the chart is set up,
Because
if it's not in the total
closed
column,
in
it's a zero
December
there. Look at the chart,
2016.
you see the total is a zero,
Yeah,
So it
Okay.
carried.
you get that?
okay.
So
thank you.
the motion is to remove or to waive taxes, interest, and lien, given that he didn't, the property dissolved or the LLC dissolved and it was no longer in existence. That's what you're asking.
absolutely.
Okay. Any suggestions, comments? Alderman Marcus.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be clear about deciding the cutoff line for me here is summer of 2015. So the testimony was that he no longer owned the furniture as of summer of 2015. So I appreciate the suggestion and concur that we would waive the total due from 2017 to 2020 in that chart. I have concerns about the fact that some of the payments were made post 2015. I think maybe we owe him 4480 back.
I don't know. But that's up to you.
I'm just looking at the 2015 as the defining line. Am I misunderstanding the facts, or are we just disagreeing on the direction to take the facts?
I think, Donna, correct me, the amount that he owed from 2015, 16, and what was part of 17 goes to 16.
I'm sorry.
So the 297.60 he owed for 2015, or
Yes,
2014
that was
rather.
the tax and the interest.
For 2015?
And then 2016, 240.50.
Yeah.
And the 44.80,
Was reduced, they reduced the 2017 bill.
right.
So he paid on that post his not owning the property. The 4480 was being paid towards a 2017 bill that we're waiving. Is that correct, Mr. Henry?
Isn't it 2016 bill?
Excuse me?
Wasn't it the 2016 bill or 2017 bill that he paid the $44?
If he dissolved it in 2016, it would have been in 2017.
He dissolved it.
That he would have to pay
That
the
would be-
remainder.
that he would not have received a tax bill.
So he dissolved it in December of 2016.
Yes.
So he would still have an outstanding bill.
No, because he would have had it for the 2016.
Correct.
But not 2017, and the 4480 was paid to 2017, is that correct, Mr. Henry?
Well,
This is my position, Mr. Chair. I'm still a little confused on the math, as I just want to sort of
Yeah.
balance everything out post the dissolving in 2016, which I believe Mr. Hayden is saying means he wouldn't be owning anything for the 2017.
So
maybe
the
only
4480.
4480.
So the 4480 he should get back. Your suggestion?
well, he also has a bill for 2011 for property in no location, apparently.
Yeah. Which is
now
$40.63, which increased.
So maybe the difference between the two would be my proposal. And I don't like dealing with penance. It's the
I
tax
think we
collector.
should just waive the taxes, fees, and interest as we've suggested. But you can,
I would propose that we return the difference to him.
duly noted.
Thank you.
Wait. Return the
Huh?
difference.
I think between the 4480 and the 4063.
73 cents?
No.
$4.27. It's gonna cost the city more than that.
I do think that it's important that we be dealing in math and what was owed and, dates. So that's my proposal, which I appreciate the committee may disagree.
Are you making a friendly amendment?
Friendly.
So you want to make a motion?
I'll just make a motion to waive the 851.79 and then to return the difference between 44.80 and 40.63.
Motion died. Total. Nobody seconded it, died. So let's continue. So the motion that we now still have is the 851.79 being waived, which means further discussion. Seeing none? Oh, Alderman Wingate? Alderman Douglas?
No, go ahead.
Okay, we're waiving the taxes, interest, and fee lien, or the lien fees of 851.79, indicating with an eye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it.
I'm sorry, just for the record, I guess I'm opposed for this.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Any abstention? The ayes have it. Thank you.
I move item 4. Right?
Mhm.
I move item 4.
Do we get a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, as we move on, this is the Dodge that he did not own,
Mhm.
right? And, as a suggestion earlier, talking to item number 4, if I can, Mr. Sykes, that we reduce it to $1,000. He don't have a job, right? But he has something on the horizon, opportunity that's coming down the pipe, and I also would suggest this would be 5 months.
Additional discussion.
Why 5 months instead of 6 months?
I think we should do 6 months.
The 5 months came from the fact that he stated that once we approve from the board, and he has 3 months to pay. I think that's what his agreement was, which is why it wasn't 6.
Clarification, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just want to make sure I understand the proposal from my
Mhm.
colleague, Mr. Wingate. Mr. Wingate, you're proposing reducing the interest, taking off the 831.40, is that correct? And reducing the tax from 1745 to 1,000, am I hearing you correctly? I just want to
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Reducing the tax to
By
1,000.
by $745.
Was it 1436?
Get rid of this.
Yeah.
And get rid of 745.76. Making the total bill 1,000.
Yes.
Just wanted to understand what was
So
proposed.
that's what we discussed
Thank you.
when Mr. Sykes was before us. We asked him what he can do, what can he do? He don't have a job, but he has something on the horizon, right? We want him to be successful, right? We asked him what can he do? And I said, if you had $1,000, could you do it for 5 months? He said he'll try his best. I believe he will make it work. Alder Miller is saying, give him 6 months. That's even better. I'm willing to go with the 6 months for Mr. Sykes.
Okay. I had 1436.
That's what I had, 1436.
I had 1,000.
What's 1436?
So 4. Yeah, I had 1436.
I'm not talking about, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if you might have to speak to Mr. Douglas for a moment, just
Here we
like
go.
assumption of.
So,
Oh, because we took, I'm so sorry, we're taking out the 829.11
absolutely, yes, so that brought it to 1436.
and then reducing by 436.
03.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas.
All right.
That's what I had,
Alder
1436.
Douglas.
Alder Douglas. My esteemed colleague.
But okay, so Alderman Miller.
I want to understand, first of all, what your proposal is, and then I have a follow-up suggestion, possibly.
It was Alder Wingate's suggestion.
So Alderman Wiggins, but what is the number?
My
Yeah,
position
is 1,000, but was there
is
another suggestion?
1,000. It was 1,000. I didn't have another suggestion. My suggestion was what we talked about from Mr. Sykes that he will be able to accomplish and make sure that he get what he needs to be successful. And it was $1,000. I know that we was talking about 14, right, 79, but when we was going back and forth in discussion with Mr. Sykes, I said, if you could pay $1,000, could you work with that? He said, yes, I will do my best to get it done. And I said 5 months, and I did the math, which is $200 a month. But now you're saying 6 months. So that's my position, it hasn't changed.
Any additional discussion?
I have an idea. I'm not opposed, but just a proposal. Another approach would be to say, to reduce it by 25%, which would be 1309, which would just be more, it's less random as a number.
That's still, it's there, continue.
Is what's funny about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny about that?
So once again, I don't want to get caught up in percentages of transcending percentages. I don't want to be in that situation because once again, right, every situation is different, right? And we did the 50% on the last one, right? Now you're saying 30% on this one. I think that we should be able to just have a discussion, put a number out there, and if we vote on it, yes, yes. If we vote on it, no, no. I don't want to start the precedent of percentages around this or around that, because I don't believe that we're going to be able to do that on every case. I think
So you gotta pick a number.
you gotta pick a number. I don't think that like moving forward, right? And I understand your interest around it, and I get it, I respect it. But at the same time, I don't think that's what this committee is really for, right? Like, I don't think that's what that's for. I think we gotta come up with a number. And my number is $1,000, 6 months. Not 13, of a percentage of 30. My position is whether we vote it up or vote it down. It's $1,000 for 6 months.
Additional discussion. Alder Marks.
I just appreciate the Wingate suggestion. I also appreciate that we're trying to collect the tax. I am just feeling compelled to, again, want to have I'm feeling inclined to waive the interest and want the full tax, just as a matter of fairness that we're waiving interest on behalf of the hardship, but not cutting into the tax. I think it's hard to do. The question I wonder, and perhaps my colleagues are more senior than I can suggest, is we certainly don't want to lose the opportunity to collect the tax. So if the difference between the 1436 and the 1,000 made a difference.
Say that one more time.
So
The last part, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay, thank you. So I appreciate what Alder Wingate is doing. We're just trying to find out what was affordable, because we certainly want to collect the tax. We certainly, the city would, like to collect 1,000. If we asked for the 1436 and that was unaffordable, sort of what would that do to the situation?
I don't think that it is unaffordable. I think it's just a matter of giving them the time. If we're gonna give them 6 months for 1,000, 6 months for 1436 also makes sense, because we would get rid of the Dodge Journey, we'll get rid of the interest and reduce the 2577 to 1436, which is more than $100.
And I just want to be clear in my discussion, as I don't mean in any way to minimize Mr. Sykes's hardship, his challenges,
Oh, no.
how important the car is. I'm trying to do what is fair, given how tough times are, and how much the city needs its taxes as well for all the things that we need to do. So just
Completely understand.
appreciate him coming forward with such personal information.
I agree. I agree. Are you looking to do a friendly amendment?
I guess I'll do a friendly amendment, Mr. Chair, that the interest be waived and the taxes, that we waive everything regarding the Dodge Journey, that we waive all interest on the Kia Forte, and that we request the remaining balance, if the math is correct, of 1436.
With 3 cents.
03 over 6 months.
To support.
Oh, yeah, 1436.03 over 6 months.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I don't agree.
Alder Wingate.
I don't agree. I want folks to be able to accomplish the goal. And when we sit up here and we talk to these folks and they give us a number around discussion of what they can and cannot do, I believe.
Okay.
So my position is that, you know, he said he can do $1,000. He can get it done. He can go to work. He can start his life back, right? I like $1,400 to $1,000 is like really, really big when you don't have a job. $1,000 is really, really big when you don't have a job. $5 is big when you don't have a job, right? So you have a job, you're trying to get back, start your life back, right? And you ask the person that is going through the process, what can you do, right? He's leaning on his family members, he's leaning on his, you know, his friends. He can do the $1,000. Why not receive the $1,000?
Duly noted. Any additional discussion?
I'm happy to support Mr. Wingate, Elder Wingate's amendment. I think it is appropriate for us to give people some relief and help them get back on their feet when there's clearly a hardship. I did the math, I didn't deduct the Dodge Journey initially, so I will have you know that you came in right about it, 75%, taking 25% off, just in case one. So we're really right in line here.
Wow, that's what
So it's clearly just about the right number. And I mean, I think regardless of that, it as a practice, it does seem reasonable to me to reduce the taxes minimally. So I'm just supportive overall of your approach here.
Alder Douglas.
Just to take into consideration, that was for 5 months. Now we're
Now
talking
we're doing
about 6 months.
Right.
So I would concur and go along with the
Friendly amendment.
friendly amendment.
So you will be in support of 1436?
I would be in support of 1436 due to the fact that we have added another month onto that 5 months, which I don't think would be that big of a burden.
So I would agree with my colleagues, Douglas and Marks, on that. So all in favor to approve the friendly amendment indicated with an aye?
No.
I haven't asked that yet. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it. There's 3 against 2. So the friendly amendment is approved.
I move item number 5.
Yeah, if you could just move the whole thing.
Oh. I will move the number 4.
With the friendly amendment. Move the whole thing.
I move the whole thing.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicated with an aye.
No.
Aye.
No.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, Mr.
No.
Chair.
We're voting on the friendly amendment.
The item as amended.
Oh, thank you.
All in favor to approve the item that was amended with the friendly amendment by Alder Marks, please indicate with an aye.
Aye.
No.
I said aye.
Nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. I'll entertain a motion for item number 5.
Oh. I make a motion,
Move it.
Move it.
so move.
Second.
Discussion. Alder Douglas.
No.
No. Alder Wingate.
I think we should remove this 5%. If my percentage is 0, I think we should remove everything. I I think we should forgive everything.
Okay, additional discussion. Alder Marks.
Friendly amendment. I move that we waive the interest and keep the taxes at the maximum.
Do we hear a second on the friendly amendment?
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't hear it.
Waive the interest.
As we've done the last one, waive the interest and keep the taxes.
Do we hear a second? See another friendly amendment. Alder Wiggins.
Once again, looking at the hardship in reference to what it really looks like, I most definitely would be inclined to forgive the interest. And once again, when we had the discussion with the gentleman, it was a thing we put out there for us. I believe cut it in half, about 1,500. And I want to stay there. Cut the taxes in half as well. And I think the percentage was about 72%.
Correct, I believe.
Yeah, I think about 72%, right? If you did this percentage.
Forgive me.
I can do math too.
No,
I can do math too.
Yeah, I
I
love the percentage.
I'm tired, right? You know, I've been in the meetings all day.
So your friendly amendment is that you will forgive the interest completely and reduce the taxes to 1,500.
Yes.
Okay.
This is on number 5. This is on number 5.
I have a question. I know we're all excited to go home soon, but
No,
no, you're
no,
good.
no,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
So here's my question. Why, for my colleagues who voted to keep the tax in full for item number 4, what to you is or isn't the difference between that situation that called for us to keep the taxes in full and this situation where we're asking, we're going to reduce? I'm just trying to think about what is the fairest approach for everybody. 2 situations of hardship, of course, they're not the same, different levels of hardship, different nature of hardship, but 2 hardship scenarios. What do you think would be, why would does the first situation call for keeping the taxes in full? And what implications does that have for your feelings about number 5?
Well, we didn't keep the taxes in full for item number 4.
We took off the Dodge Journey, but
Correct.
for the other, for the vehicle that he rightly owns.
What is your question? I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering what logic you will apply to this one versus the other. So I am in favor of some reduction, percentage or otherwise. My colleagues didn't vote for that for number 4, so I'm wondering Alder Marks has said so, maybe, and you're recusing yourself, Alder Douglas. So maybe Alder Crespo, just wondering what approach you think would be prudent for this.
I mean, again, every case is case by case. I think prudently, the thing to do would be 1,500. And if you look at it as opposed to what you need to think that, if you look at the taxes owed, they're both similar amounts. One is paying about $75 less, the other one's paying $75 more. I think it would be prudent to provide assistance in allowing some of it to be reduced. But at the end of the day, it's a case by case. So I think what my colleague Alder Wingate proposed is prudent. We can raise it to more or less. It's all dependent on what the committee wants to do. Alder Wingate.
Yeah, what she asked you, so, Chair, but I want to give my rationale on why, right? That I thought we should have did 1,000, right, with the last case, and why I'm trying to reduce this one as well, simply because he's homeless, right? Like, I took that in consideration, right? That he's homeless, and that's my rationale of cutting the taxes itself, right? Like, his opportunity for him to get his Social Security, him starting a new job, and that's still a hardship with the 1,500. But this is why I'm saying it, just to keep the integrity around some of it is like, I know we're not gonna cut it to zero, right? But that's where I was at with it. There's no need for me to rehash the last situation. Everyone knows my position around that. But, this is why I'm saying the 1,500 plus removing the, interest.
I would support reducing to 1,500, which, by the way, is about 50%.
Any additional discussion? Otherwise,
I guess, again, just to state for the record, my position has nothing to do with how compelling I feel this hardship is. I think it's compelling. This man is homeless. This man sounds like he's a giant in the community, from what I'm hearing from others. But I feel that there needs to be, with Alder Miller, again, some sort of due diligence regarding hardship and, is it just what somebody says they can pay? How much are we scrutinizing? We're referring to this individual as homeless. We didn't ask where the last individual lived. He might have been homeless too.
No,
I'm sorry?
he said he lived at 25 Pound Rock Road.
Or perhaps I'm just saying perhaps with a family member, as the current individual stated. We're using definitions of homelessness. I'm not saying that what Mr. Lee said wasn't totally compelling. I'm just feeling that what's coming down to this is that sort of how much information that individual shares and which questions we happen to ask. And, I'm kind of, what can you do? So how much do we, I'd like to hear thoughts from others, because for me to feel that I could engage in that, I feel like we do need standards. More standardized questions that we ask of various people. But I know others have been around longer than I am. I'm trying both to be fair and, respect the hardship of, I don't doubt the hardship one bit.
so I think one of the things that I thank Don for doing is to send this information before the meeting, where people can prepare the questions before the committee, and they can bring those questions up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can ask according to the case by case, what's pertinent to you, what's something that you'll use for your determination and deliberation. So I think preparing this question beforehand will be useful. But again, everything is a case by case. So certain people may have a compelling argument than others, and sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes, like Alder Wingate stated, sometimes we have to use our heart and say, this is what we have to do for this person, for that person. And sometimes that's what happens.
Can I ask one more question, Mr. Chair? That's for my colleagues. I heard the questioning of this individual, and looking at the balance sheet, his monthly balance is obviously very dire. I hear that, no income. I feel like I heard him say that no amount would be payable for him. So I'm not sure what we're doing, offering the 50%. Did others hear him testify that you can't pay anything? If that's the case, then I feel like we really should be voting on waiving completely or sticking to the taxes. I'm not sure why we're waiving at 50% when he said he can't afford it. And my position then is, I don't think I can reduce it to zero. Therefore, I want to stick to the taxes. That just for discussion, please.
Yeah, so I believe that the reductions of 1,500 is welcome. For the next 6 months, he's going to start having a job, and Social Security will kick in eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have something where he will be able to pay at least 50%, according to all the law, right? 50%?
52.
52. With a waiver of the interest, and then cutting the taxes by 50+%, or about 50%. Alder Miller.
I think that the danger, right, is that if we were to cut in half or waive completely the taxes of every person in the city with hardship, we couldn't run the city. But the reality is that we don't see that. We don't see huge numbers of people coming forward. It's really, we tend to see cases where it's a small number of cases overall, and it's often very significant cases. So I think it is reasonable for us to reduce the taxes. I'm in favor of a standardized amount. I'm And I understand the argument on the other side too, but just some guidance so that it's not quite so arbitrary. But I think the practice of reducing the taxes in the case of hardship is reasonable. And I think for this one, reducing it by 50%, which happens to be about 1,500, what is his situation exactly? Where might he draw funds to do that? Like, that's not really for us necessarily to figure out, because as we see from item number 1, which we weren't able to talk about, there's 2,684,000. I mean, like, there's a lot of uncollected taxes, and we can't solve that whole problem here, right? Like, everybody has responsibility to try to figure this out. But if we can help him a little bit, I think that's reasonable, and we should try to do it. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
All the remarks.
I just want to share, just given that we're having a public conversation with a lot being discussed about the process, that I just want to share that for discussion purposes, it feels arbitrary to me of who reaches us. And, you know, if we were to start advertising this, even the existence of this committee, I think the line will be out the door of people who couldn't afford their taxes. I'm struggling with this.
No, I
So I just want
agree.
to share that with the committee.
I agree.
Can
All the way good.
So, with what you just said, right, it puts me in the mind of we should do more for who we can, because we don't have a line out the door, right? If we did have a line out the door, we could even do less, right? So we have an opportunity to do more for the people that even come in here, right? That would be my argument. That my argument would be, well, you know, we're not helping that many people, right?
So
in our job, right? I know we always look at the city side of things, but our job is to help people, right? We aldermen, we represent people, right? Right? We got the lights, we got to keep the lights on, right? I mean, he's in a hardship, he's homeless, forgive everything, right? If we don't have 20 people in line, we can come from that position too. But as I said before, right, we have to do something. I know we have to do something, right? So that's why I said, let's take away the interest. Let's cut the taxes in about 52%, right? So he can at least try to achieve his goal. And that's getting back in a home, getting his Social Security intact, and trying to get some extra help. We're gonna talk offline. Alder Miller said there's some opportunities in the city that possibly can help with this situation as well. Those are things we have to do.
And on Wingate, to your point, we if you look at the agenda items of the multiple UC items that come before us for tax abatement, they're all paying the taxes in full. They're just asking for the fees or for the interest to be waived. So we may not see a line out the door because we said it exactly that way. If you're gonna pay your taxes in full and you just need the waiving of the interest, don't come to the committee. Just call Don, we'll add you to the agenda, and that's how you pay for your taxes. If we wanna have 20 people before us every month, we can take that precedence out and say, going forward, come here. But instead, to alleviate some of that, we may see 4 or 5 here and there, but on a monthly basis, we may see 20 or 30, depending on how many go before the UC items.
I get it. Listen, I know what the committee's about. Good job, right, doing this committee, right? We just gotta make decisions around what we gonna help people with.
Yep.
That's the job, right? Like, that's been the job since I've been around here, right?
Facts. All in favor to approve the item, please indicate it with an aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I recuse myself.
Yes.
I be opposed.
You did say that.
I think it's a matter of principle. I'll be opposed for right now, but I appreciate that it's going forward.
The ayes have it. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor to adjourn, please indicate with an aye.
Aye.
We hereby adjourn.
Sorry.
official.
As the case is.